Welcome back to another video. Today we are going to be coding a plugin, not just any plugin, a dream plugin. Now, last time I coded a dream plugin, it was the Compass plugin, and it got a lot of support, so I'm thinking, hey, why don't I make a series out of this? I don't know if it'll actually become like a huge series. Maybe it might just file in. I'll see what I want to do with it when this video goes up. But today we'll be coding a popular video that I saw a couple days ago, I believe, and it was about Dream's plugin, but all the drops, every block he breaks gives you a random drop, and it is multiplied random drop. So let's get into the coding. I'm going to pretty much go over what we have here so far, and a couple of things I just want to say off the bat is I know I haven't been uploading so much. Currently, it's like if I want to or if I don't want to. There's been a lot of things, other things I've been busy with, but we're here now, so might as well get in and do some coding together. So the first thing we want to do is have this here, plugin YML, one command. It's going to be randomized. Yes, we're working with 1.17 now, and then reference your main class right there. If you do not know what I'm talking about, I please recommend. It gives me the views and it will help you out. Watch the other videos before this in the series. I think there's only 6 of the other videos, or maybe 7. These will all help you get to where we are right now. And anybody that has watched the previous videos, this part should be slightly challenging, but you should be able to understand it quite well. Anyway, the first thing we want to do in the main is we want to extend Java plugin, register a command, and a listener. And pretty much the plugin, can I speak? The class we're going to be doing this is called Random Drops Core, and I have that right here. So just get this all done, pause the video for what we need to do, and then come into here. So a couple things that are going to be in here. First one, we're going to implement the command executor and listener. And we want to, implement those 2 methods, and we're going to have 2 methods, which is the on command and the on block break. So this is going to be like the 2 methods to help you randomize it. And if you saw here, there's going to be a command here that is randomized, and that's going to run the code that's going to set in place the random drop. So it's pretty much like a toggleable system. Not really toggleable. Actually, if anything, it's not toggleable, because once you randomize all your drops for the world, you have to uninstall a plugin from your world in order to get the drops back. Anyway, you're going to have a command that allows you to randomize the drops, and you can do it as many times as you want until you, have content-filled drops or drops that you like. I have no clue what you need it for, but it's a command inside. It's going to do it, and you're going to be getting control of when or not. So they're going to need to make 2 lists here, which are going to hold all the items and blocks in the game. So the blocks is going to be a material list, a material array list, and the item list is going to be an item stack array list. So with that in there, what else do I need to go over? So yeah, pretty much we're going to work on code. I'll explain it really quick, and we're going to have a method that puts all the items into the game and sorts them as either blocks or items, and then with that we're going to make a hash map and set block type equal to a random item type, and this process is going to be randomized. So like one time your hash map might contain the material block as a grass block, and it will output a diamond sword, or it's going to contain a prismarine block, and it's going to output a spawn egg or something like that. And we will work on a different video if you don't want spawn egg spawning. I will probably add something towards the end of this video to help you filter out the spawn eggs, but that is not right now currently. I will just go through the code with you right now. So after you have those lists, we're going to work on the code that actually fills up the list, which will be the first thing on the to-do list. So the code we're going to do here is going to be something like this. So it's going to be not if, why am I doing if? For material mat, we're going to call it mat, and it's going to loop through all the material dot values. So it's going to loop through every single material. It's going to make one single variable called mat for all the materials. And again, if you don't know what we're doing here with for loops and hash maps and all that stuff, please watch the last videos. And I know some people might be in a time crunch and want to get this plugin out right now. Go ahead, copy the code. I'm probably going to leave a paste bin down below where you can just watch through the whole video. Go make it into your own plugin, have fun with it, but then please come back, because it's very important that you understand this stuff, because it's just going to make you a better coder, and then you won't have to rely on me sometimes, because I can't make every single video to your desire. There's going to be some videos I don't know what people want me to make and all that stuff. So if you have an idea for a plugin and I haven't made the video yet, you're going to want to have this knowledge so you could build the plugin for yourself. Anyway, first thing we're going to do, or the second thing actually, is we're going to check if the material that we have is going to be a block. We're going to use the isBlock method. So if it's a block, we want to do block list.add. We're going to add mat. But we also want to turn the item stack for this block. We want to turn, because pretty much if we left it like this, it means that we would only have blocks and we would only have items in these lists, which also means that a grass block couldn't drop a stone block, or blocks could not drop other blocks. It could only drop items like steak, food, diamond swords, all that stuff. So in order to make sure that both can do this, we're just going to add this block into the item list as well. So we're going to make an item stack variable because this requires an item stack type. We're going to call it item, and it's going to equal a new item stack for mat, and we're going to add mat to our item list, and just item list.add the mat. So we can go ahead and do that. And why is it angry at me? Why is it oh, we want to add material. Sorry, we want to add item because that's the item stack we just converted. Anyway, now what we want to do is just put the rest of the items that aren't actual blocks into a item stack list. So we're gonna do else item, pretty much the same, actually literally the same thing that we did here. So just copy and paste this down here. So now all of the items in the game are gonna be in this item list, and out of all those items, the blocks are gonna be in the block list. So that is what we need to do for that first part, and then we're gonna find this hash, this curly bracket, and find this curly bracket. Hit enter, go down one, so we are out of this for loop, and we're gonna input something else. We're gonna do a while loop this time, which we haven't gotten into much, so I'll explain what we're doing. Just give me 1 sec. Block list dot size squared than 0. So while lists will repeat the code inside of the brackets, inside of these two curly brackets, as long as this value right here, it's like an if statement, but as long as this if statement, quote unquote, will always return true. So if let me go over this. So pretty much what we're going to do inside this code is we're going to have a couple methods that remove blocks from list as we go down. So we're going to pretty much take these two lists, put them into here, and then remove all the items from these lists so we don't repick them. And I'll explain more in the future for that. Pretty much that means that eventually there will be nothing in this list. And when there's nothing in this list, we should cancel everything out. And that means that we have pretty much assigned every block in the game an item. And there will be items to spare. That's just how it works because Minecraft has more items than blocks. Anyway, so this will just repeat the code below until there's nothing left here, and that cancels everything. So what we're going to do is we're going to make a random, call it ran equals new random, like that. And we're going to make 2 ints. Actually, I'll just make it once and then I'll repeat. It's going to be called rand block, and this is going to be an int for the random block, and it's going to equal a random.nextInt for block list dot size. And then what we're going to do is we're going to copy this, and we're only going to change one thing, which might surprise you. We're only going to change this name, pretty much. And this is going to be rand item. And yeah. So the reason why I haven't changed this part right here is because these two values will not match up. Like, there will always be more items and blocks, so we want to find an item in this list. Next, what we want to do is copy that line down, change the name to rand item, and then change this to item list dot size. There we go. And that means that we will always see a different item, so it's gonna pick a random item from this list, and this block is gonna pick a random. Well, it's actually gonna pick random numbers from this list. We're gonna use this number to get that item. So essentially, it's picking a random item just with more steps. So now let's move on to the picking part. So random list, which is our hash map, random list dot put, and we're gonna put the material we're gonna put, the block we're gonna put. When I say material in this, it's going to be the block. The block we're gonna put is block list dot get. Oh my god, can we not do that? Dot get, and then the index is gonna be rand block. So that's going to put for the item, it's going to set the block that needs to be broken to the random block we just chose. And then over here is the value it's going to be assigned with is item list dot get, and then it's going to be ran item. So I'll explain what this does. Pretty much it's going to get a random block from the list that we just decided up here with these two numbers. It's going to get a random item, and we're going to set those two equal to each other. And then below we will obviously, you know, call this. And the main takeaway for this specific line of code is these two items will be equal to each other. The item and block. And then all we have to do now is block list dot remove, and we're going to do block ran block. And we're just going to copy this down, or actually we won't because it'll be difficult. Item list dot remove ran item. All right. So then what it'll do is after this whole line is code is done, it will remove the two items we just selected from the list. Because if we keep them in the list, there's a chance that it might get selected again. And let's say like stone and grass could drop both a diamond pick, and we don't want that because we want to have the better chances, the best chance we can to get different items, or else it's just gonna be like, you know, one item could be dropped by 3 different blocks, and that's not fun at all. We don't want that. So yeah, that's actually all we need to do for this part, and that will be our randomizer command. And at the end, we could do something like send message chat color green, and we can do plus blocks randomized. There we go. And then what we need to do is pretty much just do the last part. So when you break a block, we are going to set it canceled, set canceled to true. So what we would do for if it was like a mob, we would get their drops and then set their drops to what we want. However, it's different when it goes for a block. What we need to do is not break the block, so tell the server to not break that block, drop the item we want, and then turn that item in, and then turn that block into error. So pretty much essentially what you could do is e.set canceled and then e.get block.set type to error, and that would do the same thing as if you were to break it. But what we want to do is we actually want to slip in our item code to drop the item before that happens, and then set it to error. So e.set or e.get block.get world.drop item naturally. I gotta redo this. Drop item naturally. And then we're going to drop the item at the location of e.get block.get location. And then the item we are going to drop is random list.get, and we're going to get the item that equals the block that we just broke. So e.get block. And so again, if you didn't get that, we are going to drop the item at the block's location. And the item is going to be whatever item we have set equal to the block we just broke, or to the block that the player broke. And then all we have to do now is e.get block.set type to material .air. And again, we rehearse this. It pretty much just makes it so that the breaking animation actually happens. We just need to slip in this little line of code here. And that is everything we need to do. It's actually a very small amount of code that is involved in this. And it surprised me the first time I did it, because I could not believe that it was like such a small amount of code. I thought it was going to be a lot more complicated, because some people have it where, you know, if you break a block, it's just going to give you a random item, and it's just going to select a random item from the material. But if you break that same block again, it's going to give you a different random item, which I thought was very inconsistent. I feel like it's kind of stupid in that case to have all items do it, because you could just break one block your whole entire playthrough and get like all the items you could ever need, which is kind of silly. So I don't like that version. And before you yell at me, you're like, oh my god, you haven't added the randomizer for the random item. I'm like, no, we're doing that quite literally right now. So I just wanted to say that we are done for our, like, the whole randomizer code, because the big chunk of this, the big takeaway I want you to take away, is how to assign values and all that into a hash map list, blah, 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 blah. So what we need to do here is actually not as simple as I thought it was. We need to make a random variable, which is going to be random man equals new random. And we're going to do int ran int equals random.nextInt, and the bounds for it is going to be 50. That's the amount of items that it will drop at max. It's going to pick a random number between those, and actually to make things easier, you want to add a +1 there, because Java works on 0 to 50, but we want to make it go 1 through 50, because you can't drop 0 of an item. So add 1 so that, you know, it will not be silly, essentially. And then we actually need to surround this in a for loop. So for int I, and we're going to set this equal to ran int. And that's going to get the integer. And then we do this, and then we do, what do we do? We do while I is greater than 0, or we'll do 1. No, we'll do 0. While I is greater than 0, we want to do I minus minus, like that. Oh, this needs to be this, like that, and then bop bop bop, like that. And then we can go ahead and package this up and put it on the server. And this is pretty much just going to drop the right amount of items that you want to choose. I use 50 again because I don't want to use a giant number that's going to lag out my server, but use whatever number you want to. Just know that the higher the number gets, the laggier your server could get. And if you don't have a lot of RAM on your server, it's going to be a problem. Like me, because I don't have a lot of RAM on my test server. Alright, so just remembering, after you have all of this in place, I actually just spent like 30 minutes over it's quite funny. It was not e.getBlock that needed to be here, it was e.getBlock.getType. Because again, you want the material type, because that's what we have in the hashback for the block, and I just completely forgot that. Okay, so for this part real quickly, I'm going to show you how to filter out items, and it's kind of like a given, but I just want to make sure that everybody knew this, just in case you are new to the channel and you haven't watched some of these videos. So, right above here, you're going to check if pretty much the material is something that you don't like, and this might end up being a long string, but I'm just going to check for a few things. So if mat equals material.air, or, and then we do the or symbol, which is that. So 2 of those long lines, and then we can just copy this over however many times we want. So I'm going to do it 2 times. If mat equals material.bedrock, because I don't want to have bedrock available to the player. And then if, I'll do that. And if mat is equal to spawner, because we don't want them to have spawners or something like that. Maybe barrier block, barrier. Don't mention that spelling. You can go on and on with this, and then you just want to do this, and then take this guy and put it at the bottom here, and that will make everything match up with everything else. And this will pretty much just filter the material and make sure that it doesn't, you know, equal one of these. So actually, what we need to do is we need to add a exclamation point here. So we're going to check if the mat, and we have to surround it. Actually, we'll do it like this. Yeah, we can do it like that. So if the mat doesn't equal material.air, and we can actually do it for all of the rest of them, like this. There we go. So if the material doesn't equal material.air, it's going to keep going, but if it does, it's going to return and then move on to the next block. So 2 quick things to know that I made, note that I made a very silly mistake on. Actually, each and every one of these needs to have a exclamation point, and most importantly, there are multiple types of air. So there are multiple types of air, which means you have to add these 2 air types, which is material.voidAir and material.caveAir, and then you have to just go ahead and add the exclamation points in front of them, because the way OR statements work, it's really complicated and weird. But anyway, after you have done all that, finally, you can go ahead and test your plugin to see if it works. You can go ahead and load it up onto the server, like so. And the first thing you'll know on the server after reloading it is that nothing breaks ever. It's because the way you have the code set up is that if there are no values assigned to a block, you can't break the block. And because we haven't run the randomize command yet, we haven't actually assigned any values. So we're just going to do /randomize. You should see that blocks start dropping with random, what's it called? With random mounts. You see I got a ton from that and a little from the other one. If you if we dig down a little more, we see get all these different random amounts from all these different blocks. Trying to find some other ores. Well, there's some other blocks. Break some TNT. Gives me Vindicator spawn eggs. I'm getting a lot of spawn eggs, which is kind of weird. I don't know why that is. Maybe it's just they're common. There's a lot of them. Gives you some tropical fish. And all that works out absolutely perfect. And congratulations, you've just made yourself a dream plugin for absolutely free, where otherwise you would have to go buy it from his Patreon, which is the biggest thing I hate about him and that I do not like. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and if you liked it, go ahead, give it a like. And if you want to subscribe, you can go ahead, consider subscribing if I deserve it, if this video helped you out. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.